Hi, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. This is Ursie. Well, I'm back to talk a little bit more about astrology. It's such a joy to talk about this light language that is so ancient. And yet, as we try and navigate going forward, as we think about ascension and being in the new energy, astrology can be a wonderful tool. And I had been posting a few things around starseed astrology, but many are still trying to wonder, what are you talking about with, let's say, the word houses? There's 12 houses that we talk about in astrology. So I put on my North Face, my little pink jacket, and I thought I'd come out and I'd talk a little bit more about what I understand the houses to be. Because if you like this game, and it's a fun game, what would the 12 houses look like in astrology, including galactic astrology? So I'm going to need your help with this one because I'm a very visual person. So I'd like to go around the 12 houses and let's just, I'm just going to use my intuition and just call out what the houses might look like. When I say houses, it's like the stage set. Think of 12 stage sets. And let's say when your soul, before it arrived into your current lifetime as a baby, you know, before it came in, there were some agreements as to your name, the family that you would be born into, the time and date, the year of your birth, and the location. So with this idea and narrative, there are 12 houses that your actors, called the planets or fixed stars, like to go on to. So those are the actors, and they have cosmic wardrobe, which I look at as the 12 zodiacal signs, you know, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc. But the houses I wanted to start with, because it's almost like, you know, that little fairy tale story about the 3 little pigs? And one little pig said, "Oh, I think I'll build a house of straw." And so he went and built a straw house. And then the second little pig said, "Oh, I think I'll build my house with mud." You know, and then the third pig went and built his house. "Oh, I think I'll build my house with bricks." So I'm just using that as a metaphor. And because I started thinking, what would all the 12 houses look like? So I'll start the conversation, but then you join in and tell me what you think the 12 houses might look like. Okay, and I'm calling on anyone who has any idea what I'm talking about to go ahead. What would the first house look like? In astrology, I'm going to show you Julia Balaz's share in her class. Here's how we read the 12 houses. We go around a wheel. So number 1 right here shows us the first house. This is the house of self and your personality. And then it goes around the wheel to the 12th house, where we end up with spirituality and the subconscious. Okay, so with every house, yes, there's a zodiac sign and there's a ruler, a planetary ruler for that house. But let's put all the little tea leaves together and figure out, what would the first house look like? The first house will show you your appearance, your outward personality, how you show yourself out in the world. Let me see what my other notes say. It could show like your first impressions with other people. It could be like your basic, the base of your ego. And I mean ego in a good way. So it's your appearance, your body, your attitude. It's really how other people see you. So let's say, what would that first house look like? I'm just going to get my pen out and I'm going to write, I think the first house is like being in a department store window. Okay, it's people walking by, they take a quick glance, they see you, and then they move on. But that's how you present yourself in the world. So department store window, house 1. If you've got a better interpretation, feel free to jump on in. Second house, I'm going to come to this. Here we go. It's where your personal finances, your possessions, it's what you value. Money, love, but it's your value house. So you've come from the great I am house of the first, and we move now to the second house. It's your self-worth, your possessions, your personal resources. It's even your earning and spending habits. So we have the soul, here's saying, here's who I am, and then moving into the next level of this is what I value, a value house. What a value house look like? I'm gonna put the image of a white picket fence. I'm gonna put a white picket fence with one of those cute little cottage houses. Okay, because I can see it's a symbol of, especially the white picket fence, which is ruled by, the second house is ruled by the sign of Taurus, with the rulership being Venus. And Taurus likes to have its own backyard. Okay, so we went from a department store window for Aries, this is who I am, into the house of Taurus. This is that little cottage with the picket fence. Okay, I'm going a little slow so I can write this down. Now the soul moves into the third house. What is the third house? The third house is now the soul is learning how to communicate. Okay, it's our siblings too. We're talking to our brothers and sisters. Could be cousins. This is a place of learning. It's usually early learning. Oh, I think I already know what the house is going to be. It's ruled by Gemini with the planet Mercury. You know, so I'm already getting an image of, you got it, a schoolhouse. This is that little red schoolhouse, the archetype of early learning, communication. We're working with our buddies and friends in school. Okay, now we're going into the fourth house. The fourth house roots us. This is our home and family. It is in the sign of Cancer. Cancer, the crab, rules the fourth house with the planetary ruler, the moon. Ooh, so home and family with the moon. Some of the qualities of the fourth house, it's our traditions. It's our inner emotions. It's the moon. It's not what we say outside. It's how we feel inside. It's very feeling. It's the nurturing parent. Could be our moms. It's also our psychological foundations. The fourth house holds our private selves. Ooh, it's ancestry. So this particular house, what would that look like? The image that's coming up for me is more like a picture instead. It's like that ancestry, DNA. It's the family tree. So maybe the house is like the Swiss Family Robinson in the tree. So that's what I'm going to write down. That's what's coming up to me. Swiss Family Robinson in the tree house of family. Okay, so that's the fourth house. Now we're coming into the fifth house. The fifth house is ruled by the sign of Leo, the lion, and the beautiful sun. This is the brightest light. This is about children, creativity. Leo is saying, I express, I create. It's the self-expression. Also in the fifth house, it's romance. It's not necessarily marriage, but it's romance, dating, creating children. It's where the house of our artistic qualities. It's joy. So the fifth house. Let me pause for a moment. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick water break. Okay, let's go back to the fifth house. So the fifth house, children, creativity, I express. Okay. It's also the house of pleasure. What kind of house would that be? I'm thinking it's kind of like one of two things. First thought of like Shakespeare in the Park with one of those stage sets, being outside and getting the spotlight and, you know, doing Shakespeare in the Park. So I'm going to write down Shakespeare in the Park, or it could be, you know, we have out here called the Santa Cruz Boardwalk. It's a fun place. It's like, I don't know, a stage where everyone's happy and listening to one another. So let me go back to that Shakespeare in the Park. I think that's probably the best one, a Shakespeare in the Park stage. That summarizes better the archetype of the fifth house. Now moving on to the sixth house. This is the house of our daily routines. It's our body, our health. It's ruled by the sign Virgo. Here's Virgo with the little glyph. And Virgo is also ruled by the planet Mercury. It's a different kind of Mercury though. This Mercury, where in Gemini, it likes to chit chat, 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 collect data and talk about all things. Virgo uses Mercury or works with Mercury to really fine tune and go deeper. It takes the data and goes deep. It takes out the things that aren't needed and it brings forward the gold. So it could be small pets in this sixth house. It's the house of service. I serve. It's again, day to day. So what would the sixth house look like? I'm just gonna say it's gonna look like you go to the gym, a workout room. Yeah, a workout room. So let me pause here for a moment and stop the share. So let's go around the wheel because I think I want to take us through 6 houses and then I'll do a separate recording for the other 6. But here are the first visuals. If you're new to astrology and trying to wonder what's the stage set for the first 6 houses, let me see if my notes, if I can read them. The first house of I am would be a department store window. Okay, I'm showing myself to the world. This is who I am. The second house stage set would be that picket fence with a little cottage. This is what I value. This is my money, my possessions. The third house, this is the house ruled by Gemini. This is going to be the little red schoolhouse for a stage set. It's where I go to learn. It's going to school with my siblings and my cousins. It's early childhood learning. Then we move to the fourth house. The fourth house is Cancer. It's home. And I think it's ruled by the moon. So it has something to do with our innermost feelings and it's our ancestry. So I came up with this image of that stage set being like the Swiss Family Robinson house in this tree of life, where you can see all your ancestors on the tree. Did I say that right? Ancestors on the tree. Okay, the fifth house stage set. Okay, ruled by Leo and the sun. This is going to be Shakespeare in the Park. Here I am, give me that spotlight. I'm going to recite poetry. I'm expressing, I am creating. And I have all my children watching. Okay, the sixth house stage set. This is the house of Virgo. It's our day-to-day routine. It's our service. It's discernment. I serve. It is the stage set of the gym. Let's get fit. Let's do day to day. Let's do our to-do list. Hope this was helpful. Don't mean to confuse, but if you go along with this game of learning an astrological language, knowing the houses, of which I've given you 6 stage sets to help bring a picture to mind as we learn how to navigate in the new earth energy using the language or light language of astrology. That's all I got for now. I'll be back soon though with the next 6 houses. Go take a break. Till next time, this is Ursie on the Ascension Playground. Bye for now.